Coming to you today with an update from the Austin, Texas Housing Summit. I just attended ABoR's annual housing summit with a few of our agents, and it was a great time. I got to listen to some industry experts and some economists. We were heard from CoreLogic's chief economist. We heard from Mark Sprague, who works with Independence Title, and then we heard from Claire Losey, Dr. Claire Losey, who's ABoR's chief economist. So what did we learn from that? What were the major takeaways? It's good for you as an agent to know so you can communicate it out to your database, let them know what's going on. It's kind of what we think is going on, right? Buyers are afraid. They don't like the interest rates. They're sitting on the sidelines. The Austin market especially is seeing a bit of a slowdown, which is very unusual for this time of year. We typically are a seasonal market. We're not seeing that seasonality like we normally do. Across the country, different markets are hurting in different ways, but overall, the interesting news is that sales are still pretty strong and prices are up, which is surprising. But for the Austin market specifically, like I said, buyers are on the fence, waiting to get in. We need to be communicating that they need to get in now and buy now before things change. If rates come back down, the buyers are all going to jump in, and then we're going to be back to multiple offers, which is not a good situation. It's great for sellers, not for home buyers. You do not want to be competing against other buyers and having to waive appraisals and overpaying for homes, right? Let's get the deal now while we can. And interest rates can be temporary. We can do ARMs, we can buy down the rate, we can refinance later. There's lots of options when it comes to ARMs, but once you purchase, that purchase price is set in stone. So let's be smart about it. Let's get our buyers back into the market. The other thing to talk about is long-term projections as far as buying versus renting, buying and holding, right? Dr. Losey did a great study on rent versus buy, and overall long-term, the game plan is if you're going to live in that home more than about 3 years, you really should look at, that just went out, you should really look at buying the home if you can. It really makes a much smarter investment strategy versus taking the difference between what you're paying in rent and what you'd pay for a home and putting it in the stock market. She did an in-depth analysis. It's really interesting. But long-term, especially for Austin, we're going to be in a supply and demand issue for a long, long time. There are not enough building permits started on new construction to handle the relocation, to handle the amount of buyers moving to this area and wanting to buy homes. And then we have our universities all around our area graduating these highly educated professionals who are going to go out and make a good living and want to buy homes as well. We just don't have enough housing, period, end of story. And so they're saying for the next 10 years, we're going to be in this housing supply problem. And while right now we feel this blip and we don't think it's that way, when the buyers come back, we really are going to be back into that nightmare multiple offer strategy. And so that means if you're an investor or a renter, now is the time to buy so that you can take advantage of that crisis, that shortage on supply, so that, when you go to sell in 5 years or need to make a move in 5 years, instead of renting and just getting back your security deposit, you're going to get appreciation in a home, not to mention all the other benefits of home ownership. So great housing summit. Look for an email coming out from ABoR. They're going to have more follow-up from that to all the members. So I think there's going to be a one-page takeaway that all of us as agents can use, talking about the rent versus buy scenario. I think it's really important as agents that we understand the reality of the market we're in. We understand where we think we're going. The great comment on stage today is that we had 3 economists giving their 5 opinions, right? Like, we don't really know. Nothing's set in stone. We don't have a fortune teller to tell us exactly what's going to happen. All we can do is read the tea leaves, and it's our job to read the tea leaves and give our opinion to our clients. So be educated, stay on top of things, and I hope this helps.